Police keep America great.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Peace Police. I hope this audio is coming through. I want to check that before we get much further. So, because I just noticed something that could be going wrong here, brother. This is Rick White with the Peace Police. Lowell, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
That's my friend Lowell.
Podcast every Sunday, so we're glad to be back. And got a lot of stuff to talk about.
That's right. Yeah, shoot us a comment if you're listening and there's a problem with the audio, because I just suspected that maybe something was happening there. But we're going to keep going. I see somebody's watching there. Let's see. So we'll keep an eye on that. How's everybody doing? We're excited to be.
Everybody in the middle of our COVID
That's right.
quarantine.
That's right. Yeah, it's been a crazy time, and I think now as we come out of it, Lowell, we're seeing some things that make us, at least make you and me and probably a large amount of the country, a little nervous. So the Peace Police is an organization, and we'll talk about that as we move on here, that's dedicated to our three core pillars of peace, civility, and discourse, right? And the concept of doing this is just that we need to be able to get along with people who are on the other end of the political spectrum, because liberals, conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, we all need to find a way to work things out. So that's kind of our base premise, right? But
Exactly.
in the midst of all of that, we've got and Terry Bott says it's all good, so he can hear us. That's great.
All right, Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry. But at the same time, we're not telling people to be quiet about things you disagree with, or dumb up, or
No,
just
not by a long
or join the other side, or these topics don't matter. We would never say anything like that. Lowell and I feel very strongly about all of these topics. But the Peace Police is about the way to get through disagreement, which is those, as we keep the premise in mind of peace, civility, and discourse. So no name calling, none of that stuff, right? But that doesn't mean we can't look and see things when they're nefarious, or when they could be, bad for us, and not call them out. Or when someone's doing something wrong, we're not saying don't call them out. We're right.
And we're certainly especially protective of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So you may not like the way something is worded, or someone says something, or a certain demonstration, or
Right.
whatever. But there are rights in the country, and what my fear is that this particular crisis, which is a bad crisis,
Right.
it's not the Spanish flu, but it's a bad crisis that easily could, and I believe personally is being manipulated, used
Right.
to attack certain values, certain rights that we have, and also get people thinking a very shallow way, not about their freedom or their liberty or their independent individual rights, but instead thinking more of as a cosmic consciousness,
Yeah.
The community comes first type of thing,
Yeah, which is, it's so funny, Lowell, but that's the heart of communism and socialism, and people like Lenin wrote about that, and even people like Saul Alinsky in the 30s and 40s in America just was really the modern spin on Leninism. And if you read his book, Rules for Radicals, he talks in there about the first thing you need to do. Because here's what he believes, and here we have to understand this. There are many people that believe this. They believe that the general population is dumb, is stupid.
Dumb sheep, yeah.
And having them create laws and elect leaders and all this stuff, coming from a pool of dumbness, will never be the right thing. Instead, socialism and communism says there are elites in the pool, and the elites are the smart thinkers. And they need to decide and think for everyone, because the others are just unsophisticated, brutish, animals. And so they need to think for everyone. And so he has, in this book called Rules for Radicals, like 8 steps on getting from a democracy like we are to a communist or socialist state like so many others. And the first step is take over the distribution of health care. Make sure that the people come to the government for health care.
then you're codependent on them,
But
right?
then it just keeps going. And so when you read this, you realize that
My God.
I'm not saying 50% of the population thinks this. I don't know what the number is, but there are a group of people who want to radically reshape and reform what America is. And there's a lot of them, in my opinion, and they're looking for an opportunity like coronavirus
Well, and we've
to
already
do it.
seen some of the actions through like activist judges and different things
Right,
that prove that that's what they want to do.
right,
Now, what concerns me is during this virus is that just blanket orders that are contrary to the Constitution. In fact, William Barr, the Attorney General, has already said, "Now wait a minute, enough is enough here." You can't just make edicts from the mayor's office
right.
that take away people's rights.
Yeah, we have a government. We have like a series of steps you have to go through.
The problem is that when people refer to this bureaucracy known as, quote, the deep state or whatever, that's what they're talking about, is entrenched people with these philosophies that you're talking about. And they say, no, I'm going to decide this, not the people, or, whatever. And then they begin to have nefarious reasons for doing what they do. And if you think about it, how quickly this one virus has knocked out small businesses, which are usually people that are independent and more liberty-minded. They're usually on the conservative side. They've risked everything to start their businesses, and they employ people,
Right.
And so they have a different frame set, a different mindset from a lot of times just a worker, especially a government worker that's just guaranteed,
Right.
there. And then you say also, we don't want people talking to each other or even getting too close to each other.
Right.
So let's put the 6-foot, 10-foot rule so we can keep people from congregating like in a bar and talking about these things.
And maybe forming a group that could actually make a difference. No, we can't have that. Got to keep people.
Yeah. And then what? Oh, for sure we can't have those values of those crazy Christians.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's stop the communion and the congregational gathering.
Yeah, let's stop church, even though you can go to King's, the supermarket.
Yeah, you can go to the supermarket where there's 50 times the exposure.
Right.
But you can't go take communion, but you can drive through the Jack in the Box after 4 people have touched your food getting it ready. I mean, it's just, none of it adds up, okay?
You're right.
And then when you get into the areas that some would call conspiratorial, but
Right.
if you do some background on it, it's not so conspiracy oriented, or like the vaccine and where did this virus come from?
Right.
And now you got Nobel Prize winning scientists and this Japanese virologist that say, I guarantee you it is not naturally occurring. It has been made by man, and it has certain things. And if you can prove me wrong, this Japanese guy said, I'll give my...
Oh, you froze up there, Lowell. Are you still there? I think what you were going to say is Yeah, I think I lost
the
you.
contrary side of
there
things.
you are.
They take doctors off of YouTube for telling the truth.
Yeah, you
Scary.
Hey, Lowell, you dropped for a second. You were about to say that Nobel Prize winning doctor said, if you prove me wrong, I'll give back my prize, right? Is that what he said?
I'll give back my Nobel Prize, because he says I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a specialist in this for 45 years.
Right.
Won a Nobel Prize. And, it's not just him. It's the other doctors, like in California, the West Coast. They've tried to silence them. And they're saying, no, listen to me. We're epidemiologists.
Right.
We are virologists.
Right,
And
exactly.
we're telling you, this is the opposite of what you do to help the immune system.
Yeah, because what you do is you let it naturally propagate amongst the population, so you get herd mentality. Or, I mean, not herd mentality, herd immunity.
Immunity.
And that, yeah, so...
There's logic to all these different things. The problem is if it determines to take away all your freedoms or stop churches or stop this, but yet then they hypocritically allow other things which are more exposure.
Yeah, so
there has to be a reason behind it.
It feels like an agenda, and I think it is an agenda. And again, we don't want to be hyper conspiratorial, but some conspiracies end up to be true. And it's not a conspiracy to say that it's not pretending there's a conspiracy to say that there are people involved in every aspect of American government and society who believe that the great experiment of democracy and the Republic of America has really failed and it's run its course, and they would like to redefine America to make it more like Europe, more, in some ways there's some democracy, but really it's more like you're making some suggestions to the elites, and the elites will listen maybe, but they know what's best for you. And this is a mentality that's a belief system. It's like a religion. It's a worldview.
It is a type of a fanaticism.
It's a worldview that says, you know, the caricatures of like beer swilling, semi-literate Americans from, you know, whatever place. You know, that's the way Europe sees us. You know, which is not true. If you come here, you realize America is everything from Larry the Cable Guy to Stephen Hawking and everything in between, right? So there's lots of stuff.
Yeah, and by the way, we saved you.
Right. But they make a caricature of us, and a lot of people see Americans like that. When I travel to, I've been to France and Germany and Portugal and stuff. When I travel to some of these countries, you just get the vibe that they smell that you're an American, and they just don't like. It's a weird deal. So, you know, they don't love us over there, but the concept of trying to remake America. You know, America is different. There's never been a country like America. There's never been a country that's been as prosperous. There's never been a country that has stood for freedom more than America. But we know, right, that there's another mentality out there, the Blame America First Club, the We Hate America Club. The America's done more. I've had arguments with people where they say America's done more atrocities than Stalin. Or do you have any freaking idea about history when you say stuff like that? You know,
that's so naive, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, has America made mistakes? A ton. But America has also built hospitals and bailed out countries who, you know, they're just, the list is long. We've invented.
Yeah, and unlike imperialism, where you go and you know, like some of the communist and Marxist type regime, they conquer an area, they want that area.
Right.
What we usually do is go help them get their country back, protect them, then rebuild it for them, and then hand them the.
Then give it to them. And don't ask for anything in return.
So people who say that really irritates me when they're saying, you know, imperialist.
Yeah.
No, exactly opposite from that.
Exactly. And then Trump comes in and says, hey, actually, maybe we'll start asking some of you guys to pay us back. And no, you're supposed to help us whenever we want to, but then receive all our insults and we can, you know, except when we need you.
Well, I like it when Trump said, and you know, he's like you said so many times, we don't agree with everything, but when he was saying, listen, no, we just don't want them to rip us off anymore.
Right.
They have the last 38 years.
Yeah, it's just, what's happened, Lowell, is like that frog in the pot. If you put a frog in a pot of water and you want to cook the frog, if the water's boiling, he'll just jump out. Frogs have powerful legs. But if you put him in a pot of room temperature water and slowly bring up the temperature, he will cook before he notices because it's slow. That's what's happened.
That's what's happened
to America. We have accepted this. We're slowly being lulled to accept a stronger control from the state and not a new normal. Now, I personally don't believe that Trump is very involved in that. Not because I defend him at all costs, because you've heard we've not defended him here before, and we've spoken out about when he does something wrong. But I believe that he actually sees it, and he's an outsider to this cabal. And you can even see it when him and Fauci are on there. Fauci's part. Yeah, and Fauci's part of the kind of the.
Oh, he goes back, way back.
Yeah, the deep state. And you can just see. And this is one of the reasons people hate Trump so much. It starts at the top, because all the deep state people hate him, because he won't play with them, along with them. So then...
Well, and they were captured. Just to interject this, they were just caught red-handed with their pants down this last, when the information about General Flynn, we all knew that was a fraud to begin with.
Right.
But now, they actually have... Well, I'm not even going to go into it. We'll cover it once it's confirmed again. But meetings at the top the very top, the meetings with all these people involved that were very well aware of what they were doing.
Right.
And really Flynn, gosh, can you imagine how they destroyed him like they tried to Kavanaugh and all? And so those are the kind of things that no American, whether you're on the left or the right, should ever want to see.
Right.
You know, hearsay is accepted in one case, but the other person who actually has witnesses, nope, they're Republican, so we won't accept that.
Yeah.
No American should ever put the scale of justice and equity on trial.
Right.
They should say, nope, if that's wrong, I don't care who did it, it's wrong.
Right.
You know, and that's where we're to the point where, you know, we have this last week something, Rick, and I want you to comment on this, is someone, you know, posts something on Facebook and then they get 15 responses back and then 15 respond to them, and you know how it works.
Yeah.
But some people are on the side that if you go to work, you are bad because you are endangering us and all of society.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, on the other hand, somebody I saw wrote a response to this. Wait a minute. Wait. You got it completely backwards.
Yes.
You want to sit in your house and have all those unseen workers deliver your electricity, pick up your trash, deliver your Amazon. Just as long as you feel cozy, secure, safe in your house, it's okay, you know, because you don't connect workers with them.
Right.
But they're the same workers out there.
Right.
And it's amazing that in the Costco, Walmart, Target, all these things, there's very few, and they're in the cesspool
right.
of the virus, supposedly.
Yeah, I want to say
very few cases of
yeah.
of employee sickness in those, in comparison, just a fraction.
I know.
So it doesn't make sense. And these two doctors that came out again, it says, no, we're doing it backwards.
Yeah, you should find the people that are contagious and infected, and they should stay home, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. The supermarket. Oh, I know. When someone says that the best thing for Americans is to stay home and let's just stay home longer, and I don't want to go to work, and you're hurting the country if you go to work, you know, I want to ask them, all right, so should we apply that to the grocery store? That's all I want to know. Should the grocery store people stay home? You know? And if they did, and that's all.
What could you say?
Yeah, if they did, what are you gonna do? You're gonna start planting some stuff?
So we can't vote. We have to mail it in. So let's all just hold the voting machines, you know, in the plumbing section of Office Depot.
It's like they've allowed certain things to open up because they're critical, but it's the people who are determining what is critical that have an agenda. Right? If we open this in this order and this in that order.
So you can't go to church. You can't go out in the park where that's the safest place because the sun and open air.
Unbelievable, yeah. The sun kills it.
It's everything backwards. These doctors are saying that's not how you.
No, that's what you do if you want the thing to flourish. If you want COVID to multiply, you isolate everyone.
New York,
yeah.
You're the governor of New York. You send the COVID patients into the nursing homes instead of hospitals.
Unbelievable.
Where who are in the nursing homes?
Yeah, the people who have the biggest chance of dying from COVID. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
just doesn't add up completely. And then you arrest the guy for walking his daughter in the park, but then you let the killers out.
Yeah,
because you don't want to get. Now, see this stuff, folks. It's not left or right. It's common sense.
Right.
No one wants the criminals out. They've already killed and raped people since they've been out.
Right.
You know, and then the governor scratches his head. I feel concerned that might have happened. Really? Well, you know, you don't want to arrest the guy walking his dog, you know, in the middle of a park where it's open air and sunshine and nobody's, you know, but you do want to let the guy that killed 3 people out.
It makes no sense. It
doesn't make sense.
And so how that relates to us is really important. We have this broadcast, and then we have the No Good Christians broadcast that comes after this. And when we do that broadcast at the top of the hour, we'll start talking about some of the spiritual implications of this. But it matters from a peace police perspective in a massive way. And here's why. We talk about what we were trying to prevent by even starting the peace police was the concept of rioting and civil disobedience, but not civil disobedience, uncivil rioting, and then martial law, and then we lose freedoms. And this was always about, peace police has always been about, let's learn the right way to deal with our problems so that we don't end up in a situation where, you know, something like this is happening. So, you know, I hope that all of the conspiracy stuff that we've talked about today, I hope none of it's true. Some of the evidence that we've seen, Lowell, is overwhelming. It's overwhelming that maybe somebody. Here's a crazy concept. Is it possible that somebody could be involved in all this that has nefarious intentions? Yeah, there are people with that. So we worry about that. We see that. So this, more than ever, is the time to stand for peace, civility, and discourse. Peace meaning, as far as it's possible with you, be at peace with everybody. Civility, when you get into arguments or discussions about this stuff, including what we're talking about right now, try not to be...
allow for it. Listen to
allow for it. Don't be a bomb thrower. Don't call names. You stop the discussion when you go ad hominem. The minute you start attacking a person personally, you've advertised to everyone that you've lost the argument. You're not on the argument anymore. You gave up, and instead you did a cheap shot. So civility, no cheap shots. That little voice in your head when you're trying to argue with someone, and here's an outrageous example. You're arguing about the benefits of communism versus capitalism, and the communist guy has a little piece of spittle coming out of his nose, you know. And you see that, and you're talking to him, and you're talking about this, and say, by the way, how can you know anything? You can't even keep your nose, you know. You just moved, right? I mean, it's an obviously ridiculous example. But now it's about this guy. It's about his habits. It's about anything. When it's about the guy, you've lost the argument. Unless it's about what the guy is saying that's, you know, wrong or whatever. But so we need to learn these things, peace, civility, and discourse, even more so these days.
Yes.
It could get weird.
Could get very weird.
We thought it might get weird, which is why we started this. Now, a couple years later...
I think the thing that's changed is
yeah.
the warfare that's going on, or the resistance one side with the other, and the uncivil things are starting to be over this virus now.
Yes.
Instead of just Trump, now you got the vaxxers that say you hate humanity if you don't take this new vaccine.
Right.
And then you got some people on the other side, and I count myself in there. Well, even if I believed in vaccines, I wouldn't take this one.
Right. Exactly.
Because all the COVID, all the different, what do they call them? Coronaviruses. There are over 19 different ones, including the common cold and flu.
Right.
And SARS and Ebola and HIV and all. And they've never been able to come up with an effective vaccine for any of those, including SARS-1.
Right.
And this is SARS-2. So does it make sense that I'm saying let's let them prove they can do one on SARS-1 first?
Yeah, and here's why, Lowell, because we know for a fact that the best vaccines are 18, 20, 25% effective. So this can't be the plan, okay? If your plan to stamp out COVID is something that's going to work 18, 25%, then that's a horrible first, plan A. That's a horrible plan A. Unless you get something else in the plan A, like you get the ability to track everybody.
Let's don't go there today.
Yeah, we'll go there some other time. Real quick, I want to share my screen so you can see our Peace Police website. Check out this website. It's peacepolice.net. And there's some great things you can do here. We talk on this first page about, let me get rid of those name tags real quick. Hang on a second. We talk in this first page about what we're about, kind of, our core values, things like that. And on each page, on a lot of pages, you're going to see this hat. Lowell and I are both wearing this hat. You can grab that hat if you click on for like $20, and it really helps us go. Also, in the beginning, I don't know if you heard the song because I wasn't sure we had audio working, but the song that you heard is the Peace Police theme song. It's called Spread the Peace. You can get that on iTunes. It's Rick White is the artist because I did the song, so
Great
it's
song.
under my name. You can check that out. So the other thing, you can go into the core values and see what they're all about, which is, again, peace, civility, and discourse. Here's the page on our theme song with the lyrics, and you can hear it there, and then again, a link to buy it. You can join the Peace Police. What does that mean? It's pretty simple. You agree to these 5 statements, which are just common sense. Like, how about this? I promise that if I interact in any public discourse that becomes hostile, hateful, or violent, I will not engage in any hostile, hateful, or violent speech or actions, and instead will seek to be a calming influence. What a crazy concept. I wish everyone would do that. But if you agree to these 5 things, you put your first name in, your last name in, and your email address, and you get this really beautiful certificate that is signed by me and talks about how you are a member of the Peace Police and you stand with us. Then we got a message from Lowell. We didn't cover how the Peace Police started with Lowell's dreams and stuff today, and we're almost out of time. So you know what? Read this. Go check it out. Listen to Lowell's testimony and how this thing started. This thing was kind of born in an interesting way, and you should check that out. Know your rights on this page. If there's something else you need to know about what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, we'll post them here. And then again, shopping. Check out our hats. It'll help us, okay? This is not, this hasn't been done with any kind of major budget. We're back on camera now, Lowell. This hasn't been done with any kind of major budget or anything like that. But we're just here to try to calm the general population down and get us to work together again. Hope that makes sense.
And don't lose your rights.
That's right, Lowell.
Let's not lose our rights, whether we're on the left or the right. None of us want to lose our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, or have it rewritten, using the fear that is out there to do it.
That's right. Just personally, Lowell and I personally will encourage you to peacefully resist people that are trying to change America fundamentally. That's our political position. But with peace, civility, and discourse, we would recommend that you do resist those people. It doesn't mean that because we believe in peace, civility, and discourse that we don't ever say anything or we don't ever get involved in argument. No, you have to. So, God bless you. Check us out. You can become a patron if you want. That would help us. Get a hat, and we'll see you all next week. God bless.
See you guys.
Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together.